These are assembly instructions for the file that I've named Dearest Reader, I'm a Fan. So I'm starting with the semicircle piece. So this piece I cut with the pretty side down on the mat so that I could draw the lines that I need on the underside of this piece. So I'm just folding down on all the score lines. So my first score line is a valley fold and my second score line is a mountain fold. And I'm just going to fold my piece in that accordion style fold all the way along. I'm just following along the score lines. Folding it all the way along. And then I'm going to lay it flat again. So I looked up a more formal word for this part of my fan, and as it turns out, they call them sticks. So that's what we're calling them. On each stick, I have a matching bottom. So I'm just gluing on that bottom piece, and I want the holes to be right on top of one another and the edges to be nice and even, like so. And I'm going to do that with all 10 sticks. So next I'm going to use a brad as a rivet for my fan, and if you notice, this has a very long stem to it. So this is 5/8 of an inch long stem. The longer the better. I'm stacking my sticks on top of one another. I'm making sure that the piece that I have glued on is at the top for all of them. I've stacked them up so that you can see right through that hole, and I'm putting my brad in the hole, and then I am opening up the pins on the underside. I've got the open side of my brad facing upwards, and then I'm spreading out my sticks. The first one goes between the drawn lines on the right hand side, and the last one goes on the drawn lines on the left hand side, and the others all get placed in between the lines that are drawn on my fan piece. I'm going to start with one of the pieces at the top. I'm putting glue between those drawn lines. I'm placing my stick down so that it's right between those drawn lines, right up at the top. I'm doing that with the one that's just to the right of it. I'm just going to keep doing that for all 10 sticks. So I'm rotating my fan, and I'm putting glue on that bit of cardstock that's beyond my last stick, and then I'm folding it upwards, and I'm just gluing the cardstock to the underside of my stick. I'm doing that on both sides. So next I'm starting on the left hand side of my fan, and I'm just bringing my score lines together like so. So that's my fan closed, and that's my fan open. So one thing about this fan is that the cardstock you want to use works best if it's double-sided and a lighter weight cardstock. So this is probably about 65-pound cardstock, patterned cardstock on both sides. It works quite well. Anything thicker becomes very difficult to fold. So next we're going to work on the box to put it in. So my box comes in 2 pieces. I'm folding down on all the score lines for the larger piece, and then I'm gluing down my decorative panels between the score lines, trying to maintain an even border around my rectangles. My sticks are cut from craft board. My box base is cut out of shimmer cardstock. My decorative panels are cut out of the same material as for the fan, which is 65-pound double-sided cardstock, but anything would work here. I'm folding down on the score lines for the lid piece. I'm gluing down the decorative panels for it. I'm flipping my lid piece over and folding down on that second score line on the left, and I'm putting glue all over that tab, and then I'm folding the other end over and gluing the cut edge of that piece right to the score line of my tab. I want the bottom and the top score lines to be even, and then I'm folding down on the 2 tabs on either side. I'm putting glue on them, folding down the panel that's at the front, putting glue all over it, and then folding down the panel that's at the back. I want the edges of those pieces to be right along the score lines. And then I'm going in with my bone folder and spreading the glue. So for the larger box piece, I'm flipping my piece over and putting glue all over that side tab. And then I'm folding the other end over so the cut edge of it is right on the score line of my tab. And the top piece and the bottom score lines are nice and even. And then I have this piece that has 3 score lines on it. So I'm going to take my box and I'm laying it flat. So it has the large panel and the small panel, and my rectangular piece has a large panel, a score line, and then a small panel. And it's going to fit just inside my box like so. So I'm just putting glue about halfway, almost halfway on both sides. And then I'm carefully slipping my piece into my box. It should be a very tight fit. And then I'm using my bone folder to spread the glue. So my lid just fits over that little green piece and then it stays on. So I still have to close up the bottom of my box. I'm putting glue on those 2 small tabs, and I'm folding one of those larger panels over, putting glue all over it, and then folding down that last panel. And again, I want those edges to be nice and even. I'm going to go in there with my bone folder and spread that glue. So I have my fan, I'm just inserting it into my box, and then I'm putting my lid on top like so.